Hey viewers, my name's Cara. It's the last day of August 2020, and I just wanted to record a quick little vlog for a last video of the month, because why not? I don't do these a lot anymore, and this month, especially this past week in my house, has been a lot. I mean, obviously this entire year has been a lot, but like, just for a brief rundown, like this past week, well, last week, I kind of have to start even a little further back in the year. So we started this year, my car was not running. The battery died because I just wasn't driving it for a while. I haven't driven my vehicle since my grandma died. So that was over a year ago, like over a year and a half ago. And, then it's winter, and I don't do a lot of driving in the winter anyway, so we just let it sit. And then after that, I didn't really have anywhere to go. My partner drives me everywhere. I don't really go anywhere if they're not also going. So it was like, we don't have the money to do what my car needs right now, so we'll just leave it. But then, sometime earlier this year, we were going somewhere. I don't even remember. And my partner's car broke down as well. But the weather was starting to get nice, and they were like, well, I've been meaning to ride my bike more anyway, and they had moved their job to a closer location where it's actually, more reasonable to ride a bike to and from work rather than having to drive. So they were like, I'll just ride my bike. So my partner's been riding their bike to and from work, getting that little exercise in every day, and I work from home, during quarantine, pandemic, not a big change for me. And so we've got two cars that are not running. My partner's riding their bike. Well, last week, the bike got a flat tire. So 0 out of 3 vehicles in our house were running, or at our household, I should say. They're not in the house. We're running. And also, last week, my partner started having some weird back pain, not the usual back pain, but kind of like a chest all the way through, stabbing through to their back pain. So last weekend, we were trying to get the bike tire fixed. We had a tube for the tire. They put the new tube in. We walked to the closest gas station that has an air pump. We put in $1 worth of quarters to fill the tube with air, and it says the number that you're supposed to fill it up to, right? How much air pressure you're supposed to put in it. And we were nowhere near what you were supposed to fill it up to yet when it popped suddenly and loudly and directly in my partner's ear. So their ear was ringing for a few days after that, or a couple days, I guess, when I'm thinking back to the actual timeline. So that was also the only bike tube, tire tube that we had. So there's a bike shop also in walking distance, but they were closed over the weekend, and they're also closed on Mondays. So my partner's thinking they're gonna have to take an Uber to work or something, because we've been trying to call for months to get an appointment at the garage nearby to get our cars fixed so that I can get back to working at the Buckland Museum. My partner can start driving back to work, especially on the rainy days. They were riding their bike to and from work even on the rainy days. But we were able, somehow, miraculously, earlier this week, we finally got through to the garage. So they fixed my partner's car so they could drive. So that's good, because we couldn't get a new tube for the bike tire. Meanwhile, that day also, the chest, back pain, whatever, was getting really bad. And also, my partner's ear was still ringing. So they were like, I think I just need to go to the ER. So earlier this week, we went to the ER. And I had said, I will go with you, but I think that because of pandemic, they're probably not going to allow me to go in with you. But we won't know until we get there. I would still rather go to be there to help be supportive, because otherwise, it's a very anxiety-inducing situation, and my partner and I both have anxiety and depression. So I was like, of course I'm going to go with you. I want to be there. But we got there, and of course they said, if you're not also waiting to be seen, you can't come in. You have to wait in the car. Now, I had brought books with me and my notebooks. So I sat outside in the grass. I found a nice place outside the parking garage because it was too dark in there to read. Found a nice place outside in the grass among some trees to read about witchcraft and practice energy work for a few hours, right? Then when it got too dark to read outside, I went back into the parking garage because the lights had come on at that point. So we ended up, I was waiting there for 5 hours while they ran tests and figured out there's really not anything really wrong with my partner. It's just kind of a simple thing that they could be taking like over-the-counter medicine to deal with. So we're like, all right, well, and of course not looking forward to that bill, but we got that taken care of, right? It's a little more peace of mind for my partner, not knowing what was going on, also with the ear thing. Then Tuesday, I go out in the yard like I always do every day, and I'm not wearing shoes or socks or anything because in the summer, like, I don't put socks and shoes on most of the time, and I don't really go anywhere right now anyway, so pretty much I've only been putting shoes on if we're going to the grocery store or if we're going on a walk like we did to the gas station for the air pump or to the bike store or to the park or something. But if I'm just going in my yard, like, I'm not putting shoes on. Please. Please. So I go outside like I always do. But that day, I did not notice there was a bee sitting on our little sidewalk, our little walkway, and I stepped on a bee. And it hurt really fucking bad. It hurt really bad, and my foot hurt for like 3 days after that. But honestly, I was just more upset that I stepped on a bee, and it was probably gonna die now. And I know that not all bees die after losing their stinger, but I didn't know what kind of bee this was, so I just honestly, I was more distraught that this poor little bee was suffering because I hadn't looked where I was stepping, or it might have been like under the grass. There's a lot of plants hanging over our little walkway, so it kind of like obscures things. But I can tell you now, I am looking more carefully when I walk through there because I do know that the bees love to go among those plants and get the pollen from the flowers. They love those flowers, so I'm just being extra careful when I walk through there. But I was in a lot of pain. Luckily, I'm not allergic. So that happened. Then Thursday morning, we had a big storm. A lot of rainstorms this month, but this one flooded our basement. And when I say flooded our basement, luckily I do not mean water up to our knees or up to our waists or anything like that. It was only a few inches of water. But it was enough that when my partner noticed it in the morning, they had to come upstairs and wake me up, and because I still have insomnia, for those who may not know. And so if I do fall asleep, it tends to be quite a lot later, like after dawn, and so therefore I tend to sleep until early afternoon, because if I finally get to sleep, my partner tries not to wake me up because I really need to get the sleep when I can. It's just at a different time than most people. So they came upstairs to wake me up, and they were like, I'm really sorry, but you gotta wake up. The basement's flooded and I need your help moving everything. So basically we had to go downstairs and just move, like, we had piles of laundry all over the floor in the laundry room. There's another room where we were just storing a bunch of stuff, and it's all on the floor because we don't have shelving units down there to put things up on, and that's another thing that we were looking at getting pretty soon, but we hadn't gotten around to it yet because we wanted to redo the floor in the finished part of the basement. There's like a finished room, and then there's 3 other just like basement rooms with like painted concrete floor. And we recently, this month, we had picked up new wood laminate flooring that we had saved up to be able to get, and we ordered it months ago when we had the money saved up. But because of pandemic and everything, you know, things take a while, so we're not in a rush. So we're just like, whatever, they'll call us when it finally comes in. Well, it finally came in this month, but we hadn't gotten around to ripping out the carpet and putting it in yet. Now I'm really glad that we didn't, because it would have ruined all of that brand new flooring. So luckily, it ruined the carpet, but we were planning on ripping the carpet out anyway. So we did that. But that was a very stressful day because we weren't sure how much might have been ruined. Luckily, nothing was really ruined either. Like, there was some stuff we had to throw out, but not really a huge deal. Mostly it's just like cleaning mold off of some stuff because it had been sitting, and doing a lot of laundry because anything that was like fabric, clothing, blankets, towels, anything of that kind that had been down there on the floor, even if it was clean laundry that was just sitting in a hamper on the floor of the laundry room, it was soaking wet again. Standing water grossness. So redoing a lot of laundry, stuff like that. That was it. Just a really stressful day, part of a stressful week. And then when we pulled up the carpet, we realized there was a big crack in the floor in the finished room of this basement. And we're like, well, that's probably where a lot of the groundwater is coming from, right? So now we're just looking at, like, we're probably going to have someone come out and completely re-pour that floor, maybe even redo the walls, because we haven't pulled off the paneling to see if there's water damage or mold in there. Luckily, earlier this month, before any of this happened, we just happened to already purchase a dehumidifier because we knew we would need one down there anyway. But, so that came in handy. We didn't have to buy that this time around. We already bought it earlier this year. So the dehumidifier has been running downstairs. I'm sure the electric bill is going to be higher because we've got fans and a dehumidifier and everything running nonstop to try and dry it out down there. But all in all, like, nothing was really damaged. It's just, like, stressful thinking about what are we going to have to do now to get that room back to the point where we can lay down new flooring, because we definitely don't want to put the flooring down if it's just going to flood in there again because there's a crack in the floor and, the walls need to be redone or, whatever, I don't know. And we were going to turn that into our studio space because right now we have our desk with our computer, TV, video games, all of that stuff is crammed into what is really just a small bedroom, but we use it as our office. So we were hoping to move all that stuff down to the finished basement room because it's much bigger. But that's definitely not going to happen anytime soon now. So yeah, just a lot of weirdness this week and a lot of little random, like, stressful things. I've been trying to finish reading a couple of books by the end of the month, but especially this week, like, I had it to where the last 10 days of this month, I had about 10 chapters left in each of these 2 books that I'm trying to finish by the end of the month. So I was like, perfect, I can just read a chapter in each of these books every day till the end of the month, and then I'll finish them by August 31st. But then all this stuff came up, and obviously I mentioned I was doing some reading when my partner was in the ER. I got some reading done that day, and I try to read before bed and things like that when I can't sleep. But a lot of, like, during the day this week, other things have been coming up and I just haven't been able to get as much reading done. So I still have more reading to do today. I have about 3 chapters left in one book that shouldn't take me very long, maybe a couple hours later this evening. And I'm taking notes on that book, so it takes a little bit longer because I stop and write things out for myself or write with pencil in the margins and underline things and whatever. And then the other book I'm reading is just like stories. I'm not taking notes on it. I think I have about 5 stories left in that, but one of them is 30 pages long, and that one's really been daunting because it's so much longer than a lot of the other ones. So I have a lot of those to read. I probably won't finish that book by the end of the day today, but I'm going to do as much as I can. And obviously now I'm taking 15 minutes to talk at a camera instead of reading because I just feel like I had a lot of, like, nervous energy today and I need to be able to process it somehow and get it out so that I can sit calmly and focus on reading, because if I'm just not in that headspace, I can't get the reading done, So this month was also my birthday month, and my birthday was fun. We did some of my Patreon supporters and I and a couple of our streaming community friends, my partner and my friends from gaming and whatnot, got together for an online birthday party on Zoom. I invited the Buckland Museum people because I haven't seen them in forever, and I opened some presents that some of my online friends had sent me, and it was a pretty good time. And then I had vegan cheesecake, which is my birthday tradition. It's the only time we bothered to buy vegan cheesecake. So, and they're pretty small, so I get 2, the Dia brand New York style vegan cheesecakes. And then I just do all kinds of different toppings with them. My partner made an apple cinnamon one from scratch, from fresh apples and sugar and vegan butter. It was so good. And then we got some strawberry ice cream recently from Aldi. They have this vegan brand, and what flavors they have kind of depends because it's Aldi. They don't always have the same stuff every time. But this time they had strawberry, so I had some strawberry ice cream with it one day. So yeah, I love vegan cheesecake for my birthday. So we got to do that. We went grocery shopping and bought different root beer and birch beer, because root beer is my favorite soda pop type beverage that I really drank. Pretty much that and ginger ale are the only ones that I drank. So we bought a few different kinds of root beer and birch beer, because again, that's not something that I have all the time, so it was kind of like a birthday treat. Yeah, so that was fun. We didn't go anywhere, of course. We are still staying home unless absolutely necessary. We did walk to a park nearby though, and just kind of sit and enjoy the scenery and some fresh air, which is really nice. I do like to get out of the house a little bit because I start feeling a little cooped up. So nice little walk. And then my birthday is also the anniversary of the Pagan Perspective collab. So the Pagan Perspective is 11 now. This week is also still, this upcoming week is one of the 2 subs weeks that always happens at the collab's anniversary. We give the full-time hosts, which I am one of. I am the regular Tuesday host. I don't know why I did this. I'm the regular Tuesday host. We get a couple of weeks off, and the subs get a couple of weeks to do more videos, give them more face time to celebrate the anniversary. And then at the end of the year holidays, December holiday time, we all get time off before the new calendar year. So that's what's going on right now. I haven't had to make Pagan Perspective videos in a little while. I haven't done a video for my channel in a little while. I did, the last video that went public on this channel was actually recorded, edited, and uploaded about a week before that, but it only went public on my Patreon first for several days, because my plan was to wait until I had the manual captions done for it to then make it go public here on the channel. But obviously, as I said, this week a bunch of stuff kept coming up, so I didn't get the captions done on Monday like I thought I was going to, because then we went to the ER. And then I didn't get anything done on Tuesday because I was in pain and I couldn't think straight. I couldn't focus on anything. And then Wednesday I got a little bit more of it done. I spent a couple hours working on the captions, but they're still not done. It's just taking so much longer than I remember it taking, and it's YouTube keeps changing things. They're gonna actually be taking away community contributions for captions now. So things are gonna continue to change, and it's just it's something that I do believe is so important for accessibility to have captions on these videos, but it takes so many additional hours that smaller channels and individual content creators, it's hard to find that time, especially if it's already kind of difficult to find the time to do the video, edit it, and all of that process. That already takes hours, and then captioning it takes more hours. It's easier if you already start from a script, because then you already have it typed out. You can just upload it as the captions. But I often do not work from a script, such as with this little informal update vlog. This is not scripted, so I will have to eventually type out the captions for this. So viewers can still help creators do the captions after September 28th when they are planning to do away with community contributions. But it'll just have to be done differently. And it'll be more difficult, unfortunately, because it won't be built in with like a feature on YouTube that makes it easy for you to do it. So that sucks. But yeah, that's a thing. That's another thing I was trying to get done, in addition to getting all this reading done. And yeah. Oh, another thing I need to do, change over my tarot and oracle card readings offerings on my blog for autumn, because I change up my offerings, the type of spreads that I offer, as well as the decks that I use seasonally. So September, October, and November in the Northern Hemisphere, that is my autumn quarter of readings offerings on my blog. So today being the last day of August, I kind of need to switch that over. I might not actually get it done today. I might not get it done for a couple days, but yet another thing that I need to do. Another thing I got this month, I got myself a student planner because I've been wanting to try using a planner again to help me organize all the different things that I need to keep track of. And it seems to be helping. This week things went haywire because there was a lot of stuff that I could not have planned for. And so I just kind of was like, I'll get things done when I get them done around all of this other stuff, right? But before this week, like, I was actually like writing things out, making a little plan of like, here's the things I need to get done sometime this week. So I'm gonna write it down for this day. And then every day I look at it and say, okay, what do I need to do today? And I get a little bit of it done. So I think it's really gonna help. This week was just like, this week was a write-off, basically. Like, just didn't work out, you know? But hopefully it'll continue to help. So yeah, that's the only other thing I can really think of to mention right now. Thank you very much for watching and or listening to this video. I hope you are all doing well as you can be under the circumstances. I hope you're doing great. But yeah, I will see you when I see you. Have a good one. Don't forget to be awesome, blessed be, and goodbye.